Hello. I don't know, every time I start one of these videos, my hellos do not sound like my hellos. Hi. I don't even know how I say hi normally. Anyways, I'll have to work on that. I want to talk about my retreat. And how this all came about. And first of all, it's a home I'm purchasing, and I'm going to make it into my retreat center. It's going to be my own little place in the world. And this has been it's been a really, really long time coming, because I'm starting to, as I go deeper into this decision, I'm starting to remember things about my life that have been missing, and they've been missing so consciously that I actually felt a lack in my environment, because I couldn't cultivate this part of me that wanted to live and breathe and be in the world. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about those things and things I'm planning. I don't know what's really going to happen. I just know that spirit, my spiritual journey is leading me to make this decision right now. And the big turning point actually came in May. I hit a spiritual plateau in my journey where for about a year, things that had been serving me for a really long time were not serving me anymore. And so starting earlier in the year, people that had really, really taken a deep interest in what I do in the world and my business and my music weren't resonating anymore with my journey. And that's just been part of my process, is seeing visibly that there was that change happening, and there was something deeper going on with me too at the time. But outwardly, that was taking place. And then I got more into my purging of limited beliefs, my purging of disownership of myself, unhealthy habits that are so common in this world that they're actually an acceptable part. They're acceptable part of our society. They're a norm in our society. There's a lot of behaviors. If you don't think of things like this, there's a lot of behaviors in our culture here in America, and I live in Minnesota, that that people don't think about, that actually take away from our freedom and take away from our joy in life. Not passing judgment on those things. I just, for my own self, I needed to relieve myself of those habits. And my study on like the norms in society actually started when I was in college, and I took sociology. I had considered getting a criminology minor because I really am interested in why people are led to do things that hurt other people. And part of that is sociology and the study of human behavior, and deeper than that, there's norms in our society that there. And what norms are, let me just tell you the definition of norms. Norms are things that we do, people do around us. It's part of what goes on in our environment, in our cities, in our towns, our states, larger. There's local norms, there's family norms, It's behaviors that are taught to us from our environment that become second nature, and we don't even think about them anymore. So we get these ideas that this is the way things are from norms. And really, it's not the way things are, it's the way we were taught that they are. And so some of these norms that, especially, just taking a telescopic view over our norms today, most of them work actually against our inner journey and the evolution of self. And I'm going to break down what the evolution of self is too. That is it's the journey of life. So there's things that can happen in our life journey that bring us closer to acknowledging all we are. And there's things that can happen in our life that take us away from it. And that happens unconsciously too a lot of times, is that we don't realize how things are affecting us, and all of a sudden we start to act in certain ways, and we don't have that deeper knowledge that allows us to take a look and say, oh, okay, well, I saw this and I took it this way, and so that's why I'm acting this way. That happens in the breakdown of the self. So in the evolution of a self, you're in your path. You are doing what you love, and everything comes naturally. And that is when the self can evolve. So we have the norms that I was purging, and then this deeper sense that I was working towards my self-evolution. And that's been my life journey. I intentionally got into situations. I intentionally learned things so that I could break it down actually someday for people. So I could break down this and make it understood that this is what's happening on an intrinsic level. So I got done with all of this purging in May, and I hit this spiritual plateau, and I found myself in the strangest place, because now there was a conscious thing, there was like things that weren't working for a long time, and then all of a sudden, like, everything wasn't working. Like, my life was no longer serving me as it was. And I had this deep desire to connect with nature and to go deeper into myself and get away from society so that I could evolve into this person that I am meant to be. That's been part of my journey and part of what I've been working towards. And it hasn't been really clear to me what I was going to do. And I've been looking at different options, like, temporary things or, different things, and nothing was aligning with me. And there were always, every option that I had was like, well, that's good, but this, there's good, but this. And so everything was, I was looking and I was looking and I was looking, but it wasn't making sense yet. And then I met an astrologer at the beginning of the year, and it was really an eye-opening experience about how the planets have aligned and set up a certain destiny for me in my life. And one of the things, and it really helped me, because since I'm purging so much of my old stuff, and I was finding answers in my life for a long time in a certain way. And now I found myself at a new place where the old way of getting answers wouldn't serve me. And so I needed a new way to find answers. And so I met with an astrologer. That was absolutely amazing. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. And one of the things that she said aligns to me is the buying a home. Okay? Buying a home. And so I had, that was what I knew to be true. I came into this apartment 4 years ago, and I knew this would be my last renting place. And I just didn't know how long I was going to stay here and all this other stuff. Now, there's been things at the apartment here that really, really have been working against my sense of my nature and where I can feel good. So there's been visible things that have been telling me this time is coming to an end. This time here is coming to an end. So all these things are working together to realize that I'm getting pushed into another level of my life. What do I do, right? What do I do with that? Well, I started looking for a house. And I hadn't even at this time connected the pieces between the retreat and the home. It just happened that I was actually going to get something local, and it just didn't work out financially. It wasn't the right price. I was willing to do it. It just didn't seem to fit together. So I kept searching, and I was still kind of waiting to see what happened. But I found another place, and it was in the middle of nowhere, and something just told me to pursue it. And it was actually bigger than I was looking for. And I liked that it had more space. It had more room, acreage. I had a lot of more possibilities there. And I went to go look at it a couple weeks ago, and it was so strange because I have like certain signs that my spiritual energy has pulled into my environment to pay attention to make sure I'm aligning properly. And when I went to go get my dog, these signs were like just ricocheting out, like in places that they shouldn't have. It was so strange. It would be like the strangest things. And it was even more profound when I went to look at this house. It was so strange. I don't think my consciousness could really acknowledge it, but there was like, I got given the eagle as my new spirit animal a little while back, and it's taken some aligning through the help of my spiritual nature, the spiritual energies of this world, but an eagle like swooped in, and I was like, oh, okay. And then like the sign was there. Like there was just, my signs in my life right now have become so strange and absurd, and so many that I can't even keep track, number one. And then also it's almost so spiritual that it's almost not conscious. For a while, like a few months ago, before I wasn't quite this aligned, I would get signs, and there were maybe whatever, you know, a handful in a day that were very significant and very direct, and I could journal about it and stuff and go deeper. And now it's at a level that they're just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And when I made this life journey, I remember planning this, and I remember saying, I got to put a whole bunch of signs here. I'm not going to be strong enough to know who I am. And just to give you a little background on why that is because I've undercut myself for my purpose to go into suffering so that I could come out and help others relieve their own suffering as well. So this house, it's a really uncomfortable thing for me to do. I am expecting the deal actually to go through this week. I am doing this video pre-deal because this is what I would be talking to someone about right now. So putting pieces together. There have been things in my life that I've really wanted to do, and due to restrictions in my environment, I haven't been able to. And then maybe there was some things that I really could enjoy for just like a brief period, but then it had to move on. And my music was one of those things. I've got all this stuff for a recording studio, and I don't have a room to put it in. I've got my keyboards and my guitar in the bedroom. Like, I don't even have things set up. Like, I can't, it's just, it's crowded in here for me. And that's another sense of, like, you know, me having all the signs that there's more for me to explore right now. So I've been looking into what this is going to mean to me, and I've been thinking of like living off the grid and what that would be like to have a commune or like a place where you provide for yourself. And this wouldn't be the same thing because I'm still going to be in civilized society, but I'm not going to be like close to anything. I could have my own garden. I could have my own, I could even have my own like spirituality center, you know, like a room, a spiritual place to meditate. Just things that I could do there that I can't do if I don't own it. I want to learn how to garden. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know. I'm just saying there is a place for a garden. I want a place for my little puppy to run around. And I've always really wanted chickens. I really love chickens. It's just kind of a weird thing about me. And I've wanted to tame a squirrel for about a year, and I can't do that here. I do weird things like that. Like, I want to look at the stars at night on my deck. I want to have campfires. There's so many options. Okay, so here's one of like the coolest things that I'm probably most excited about, because I do know the resources that I would actually use to cultivate this. And I wanted to do this for a really long time. The National Wildlife Federation, I was a member for a while. I had to cut down on a lot of my donations for a while. I've had, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 causes that I've been donating to for the last 7 years. But before that, I used to donate to probably about 30 organizations at least. And that's just because those are things I care about, and I feel like if someone's doing the work for something, then I want to feed into them so that they can continue doing the work, because it feeds into me too, and it feeds not only into me but into everyone they touch. So, yeah, the National Wildlife Federation has this thing where, and you know, technically you can become certified, and I think that would be cool too, but they help you cultivate like natural wildlife in your environment. And I think some people do like prairies or swamps or marshes, just depending on what your thing. You can do like butterfly gardens. I could have like a pond or something. I don't know, wildflowers. I don't really know. I just think it would be cool. Like, I always thought having a rose bush would be cool. Or having like my own flowers growing that I could cut off and just bring into the house and have fresh flowers. All those things I think sound really good. Will it happen? I don't know. Because we're coming into the winter now. It's the end of October. We're having the most beautiful days of the year right now here in St. Peter, Minnesota. It's absolutely breathtaking. Some of the leaves look golden and they're just all different colors. I mean, it just takes your breath away. Plus things are falling every once in a while. I think this is the most beautiful fall that I've ever really been paying attention to or aware of or like involved in. That in itself is a sign that I'm ready for more. I'm ready for more of what Mother Earth has for me to grow. And there's another part of it too, is that, you know, my business is a home business. I can work from home. I can connect to people on the internet. I can do the calls. I can do all that stuff right from where I sit. And I usually do it in this apartment. Why wouldn't I do it in this cool space and share it with everyone? Why wouldn't I? It just would make absolutely no sense for me not to do that. So I'm going for it. I'm like seriously going for it. This is for me. This is for me. This is not for anyone else. And this is my norm breaking quote of the video. Because I'm doing it for me, it will benefit everyone it touches. So I'm really excited about where my journey's taking me. And I'm so excited to take everyone with who wants to come with me. So wish me luck and I will keep on trucking.